Why should families of workers have to worry if their loved one is going to go to work that they may not see them ever again because they were killed or badly injured because of something that was preventable?
If you're injured on a construction site, what can you do? Well, that's what we're going to ask the lawyer on today's episode. Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com. My guest is attorney Michael Greenspan of New York. And Mike, thank you for helping us out today and answering our questions.
Sure, it's good to see you.
So things are starting to open back up where you are, and that means some people are going back to work on construction sites. This has caused you some concern. What are some of the concerns with people getting back to work on construction sites?
Sure. Well, because of the pandemic, many construction sites across our state have been left idle. And now that New York is reopening, construction sites are back on duty, and that means that there are going to be timetables that have to be met. It's a big concern amongst us who represent injured workers is that there's going to be an effort to speed things along and allow owners and operators to cut corners on sites in order to make up for lost time. Some places have been idle for over 3 months. So as a result of that, it is very important that construction workers know their rights, especially those who are undocumented, because there's been a change in the law here in New York just this month.
Well, let's pursue that for a second. Then what is the change and how does that affect undocumented workers?
Up until June of this year, undocumented workers were very worried because if they ever went to a courthouse, either because they were a party, they were a witness, ICE could be waiting for them. And many people would arrive at a courthouse and would have ICE take them up and spirit them away. So people were afraid. They were worried that if they participated in this system, and even in the civil justice system, that they could be immediately seized by ICE and taken away because they were undocumented. Well, just last week, Judge Rakoff in the Southern District of New York, the federal court system, has issued what's known as an injunction. And basically what Judge Rakoff has ordered ICE is to stop doing that. He found that immigrants, people have a right to be at a courthouse and that it affects our justice system, both criminally and civilly, if people are afraid to come to courthouses because they're worried that ICE may pick them up for an immigration violation. So as of last week, that has been put to a stop. ICE can no longer do that. So immigrants, undocumented workers can now go to courthouses across our state and not have to worry that they're putting their freedom on the line and perhaps being deported from this country just by participating in our justice system, either as a party or as a witness.
Well, let's follow that a little bit, Mike. So undocumented workers, what are their rights when it comes to recovering damages when they've been injured because of someone else's negligence? What are their rights as far as if they're undocumented?
Sure. Undocumented workers work on construction sites and sometimes are assigned some of the most dangerous jobs, working on skyscrapers, working on places, and working for companies which may not exactly have their best interest in mind. So if these people get work while they get injured, while they're on the job, they are entitled to the protections of New York's labor laws. So there are a couple things that they need to know. If you're an undocumented worker and you're hurt on a scaffold at a construction site, you're entitled to get your medical payments taken care of under what's called workers' compensation. It won't cost you anything. You don't have to now pay for any of your medical treatment. You don't have to agree to repay your medical treatment in order to get it. You have the right to get treatment because you were injured on the job. The other thing that you have to understand is that if you were badly hurt, and it was because of a preventable incident, then you can have the right to go to the civil justice system and hold the owner or the operator, meaning the general contractor, the person who is responsible for causing what was a preventable accident. And the reason I use that term, Rob, is that in many cases, when people are working on a construction site, accidents happen that easily could have been prevented. So in the media, you may hear about things, oh, wow, there's this terrible law that harms contractors. It costs so much money to operate in New York. That's not fair. And our response to that is, well, the statute was designed by the legislator to put responsibility for worker safety precisely where it should belong. Not on the worker who's powerless to control the conditions on his or her job site, but on the owner and the operator to make sure that there are safety devices that if they're there and they're used will prevent what should otherwise be a preventable accident. I think we can all agree that if somebody goes up on a scaffold, the scaffold shouldn't fall down, collapse. We should also agree that if somebody's working at an elevated level, they should be given safety devices to make sure that they don't fall. Because if the safety device is not given to them, or if it fails, if it breaks, it's just simply not adequate, and somebody is hurt, not only just doesn't affect that worker, but it's their family. Why should families of workers have to worry if their loved one is going to go to work that they may not see them ever again because they were killed or badly injured because of something that was preventable? And it's our job as attorneys to hold those people, the owners and the operators, accountable when, because of something that could have been prevented, a person is badly injured or perhaps killed. And that's why we're here.
So what is the process, Mike, if someone is badly injured or killed on the job site, on a construction site? What's the process? What do they do? Do they need to talk to their employers first and then follow that path before they contact an attorney? Help us out there.
No, what is important is they need to act quickly. When something bad happens on a construction site, they need to get a lawyer involved to make sure that that construction worker's rights are upheld. They're going to need to get medical treatment. They're probably rushed to a hospital, and a hospital is going to start treating them. Let's be clear. The hospital isn't going to say, well, we're not going to open the doors to you unless you sign a form. The hospital will give them care, but the family needs to know that those medical bills will get taken care of, how those medical bills will get taken care of, and if they have to have an investigation done to find out what happened, it's important to get a lawyer involved because we have investigators who can go to the scene. We can't just rely on OSHA. Maybe people have heard, well, the inspectors to do this. And while if there's a bad injury, OSHA will come in, but that's after the fact and we don't know when. It's important to document the scene. It's important to have people there to make sure to interview witnesses right away so that stories can't get changed and that pressure isn't put on witnesses by owners or other people involved to make sure that the worker is treated appropriately.
Mike, a lot of great information. I think you've helped a lot of people, and it's good. Very timely information, too, which is great to get out. Thank you so much for helping us out again today.
It's my pleasure. And the other thing just to keep in mind is that we who represent injured workers, we don't get paid up front. You don't have to pay us money. You don't have to write us a check. We only get paid if we win. And winning is defined as we recover money from the at-fault owner or operator for the preventable harm that has been caused.
That's a good point. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. We'll catch you again next time.
All right. You take care.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been New York attorney Michael Greenspan. If you want the best information or you're ready to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, make sure to go to askthelawyer.com. Also, please take a sec to like, share, and subscribe by clicking on the button below so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Rosenthal with askthelawyer.com.